Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Yes, I made it. 8 minutes past 12. Not too bad. But happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome and welcome back to Pinky Who Art's live painting sessions, where I share my latest work, my process, and my trials and triumphs as an artist. Today, I am going to finish up my painting. Hopefully, I think I'm almost done. And it has been a pretty challenging painting for me so far, as even though this painting actually looks probably more simple than my other ones. But I think that's why we try different things and we find our edges and then we go push through it, right? And good morning, Trevor. Thank you for being here. So nice to see you. Hope your mornings go well so far. And for those of you who are just discovering me, just catching up with this live stream, which just accidentally came upon me. And if you're hearing this right now, it'd be awesome if you give me a like, repost. If you like the art, maybe do a follow and subscribe, whatever that you're comfortable with, because it'll really, really help with my artist journey. Um, I guess I don't really have too much other things to update, so we're gonna jump right into it. I still have my paintings from my last week up, and they have been scanned and processed. And I did share that I'm going through a little bit of revamping of my Etsy shop. So even though they're on the shop right now, you can probably access it until I think until January. I know I'm shutting it shut down in December, where it's probably the busiest for most Etsy sellers, but I just didn't feel like I was there this year, and I think it's okay. It's always okay to admit things that didn't go so well, and then we make improvements instead of, letting ego and letting um, influence of outside change what we do, right? Anyways, let's get right into it. Okay, so I have my camera is like zoomed on this orbit, and I guess before we get into it, get through it, I do want to show you guys what I have done so far with this painting. So I did work on it quite a bit actually, since last time we met. The the mask is at a pretty awesome place right now, actually. I'm looking at the eyes. Maybe some parts can be darker, but I really don't mind it. And I really love how the shape turned out. Um, I want to do a little bit of decorating here to make it more ornate, maybe, because I was looking at some of the Venetian masks. I don't know if you're familiar, but those Venetian masks also have these like beautiful, sparkly patterns and shapes on them, and I thought they are so awesome that I should do the same here. I did work on the leaves and the flowers a little bit, so now they're definitely looks more finished, have a little bit of light and dark. And then today we're just gonna work on the orbits. I do have to share that these are probably the biggest orbits I've ever worked on, so we'll see how that goes. I have my big brushes ready, and this is probably gonna feel super painterly, shall we say? And I see there's some areas of the backdrop probably want to, add a little bit more color and a little more detail, such as like this area. I know I have these really cool textures spreading, but I feel like maybe that part can use it a bit more. And then maybe, yeah, we'll see how it goes. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, I'm also using a brown tape this time. It's not my usual masking tape. It's just like the proper watercolor paper. And I think Trevor, you might remember I tried to do it last time and I kind of failed at it because the tabletop surface I'm working on has texture, so it didn't adhere to it quite well. And Trevor, you know what my work around was, and I was so proud of myself for figuring that out. Was that I just added a such a I just around. So this is like the edge of this painting, this paper, right? I just around the perimeter I added a layer of masking tape, just your standard masking tape, and then I did this watercolor tape on top of the paper and the masking tape, and it stayed and it made the paper really flat and awesome. um I probably should make a little, I don't know if a video about this will be helpful, but if anybody's experiencing the same issue and never thought this would be an issue, this is a hack. Um, Didn't know. Oh yeah, the brown paper. Yes, I'm using brown paper. Usually I use this white masking tape, but I don't know because this piece of paper is so large. As you can see, there was some warping happening, and I didn't like that. So we should always experiment. I'm such a big fan of experimenting because you just never know what you discover. Okay, now just let me know if the audio's okay, if anything starts to feel weird. And I did have my original adapter, my computer here, so we won't run into what happened for the past 2 weeks where my computer ran out of power in the middle, and I had to like restart the live stream, which was super annoying and probably ruined a bunch of algorithm, got a bunch of what do you call them, engagement data, whatever, for me. So we'll restart today and we learn. Okay, where should we start? Oh yeah, I said I'm gonna start on the orbit, but I did notice that there's a little bit of area I want to fix. I worked on it yesterday, and oh, I want to show you that this paint right here is something that I am also experimenting. So I add a little bit of white gouache to my watercolor paint and made this like kind of more matte, more opaque kind of finish. I'm still kind of trying to figure out if I love it or dislike it because it is so different, but I think newness is good. I think the luminosity of watercolor is awesome, but I wanted to experiment this and here we are. So anyways, so yeah, Trevor, how's your week been? How's everything been? um, I'm just gonna get into a giant brush right away. I think some of the mistakes I've made was using brushes that's too small, and then you end up with this really streaky kind of feeling, which is not what we want. Um, so big brush is good so always pick the appropriate brush for your surface is something I didn't realize was important, but then now I know. I realized that I should have done this way before, maybe. Okay. I do have this paint already mixed from yesterday. I'm just gonna go on top of it. Let's see how it goes. It's been great. I love that. I think we talked about you're excited for your holiday this year because the family's getting together. And I gotta be honest, I am kind of ready for a little break. Um, I think I share that I always feel guilty about taking time off, even though I know it's kind of essential for artists and really anybody. But Christmas and holidays is the one time I don't feel bad about it because I feel like the rest of the world is also on break, so I don't feel like I'm falling behind. Until I probably see people like posting like how much they're working during the break, then I'm like, oh man, I should have done more work. But some things cannot be helped, I guess. So yes, I'm just I saw this like funny break, so I might have tried to even that out a little bit. I don't know how successful I am actually, so maybe I had to go back and redo this whole area. We shall see. Okay, but this is nice. This blue is so beautiful. I am also running out, so I need to find a way to go find some substitute. And then I'm gonna go right into my orbits today. In my imagination, actually this painting turned out way different than how I thought. The peer review this, yes. So this painting is actually turning out way different than I had originally envisioned. Um, And that happens sometimes with art. Sometimes they turn out exactly like how I envisioned, and sometimes they're totally different. And I guess that's the beauty of art, because there are all these accidental discoveries. Um, but yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions, concerns, curiosity about what I'm doing or my life as an artist and just my life as me. And if you're watching, don't be shy. Stop by, say hi to me, keep me company. Can't wait for the orbits. Yeah, I have some paintings planned for next year that's gonna be focused on the orbits because I feel like they're really they are starting to take a life of their own. They are fun, they're cartoony, they really could do a lot more than what a flower can do, right? There's action, sense of action involved. So I can't wait to do some of them, some art with just them. Okay, so I kind of blend it. We'll see how this dries. Okay, so I think I mentioned last time that this orbit, so my paintings is inspired by Ikebana, which is the Japanese way of flower arrangement, the art of flowers in the Japanese culture, Japanese term, Japanese principle. And with everything Japanese, I think they just take it to a completely different level. So my painting is inspired by Ikebana, and I thought the whole idea of balancing minimalism and just be one with the flower is something that is almost mirroring a person's mind, right? We sometimes we overthink things. We're in our heads, so less is more. Think less. Sometimes all the thoughts are not good for us. Just think less, and then so that's the minimalism part. And then the balance part is have balance the thinking. Not if you're catching yourself being super negative, like stop yourself and then think about all the things you're grateful or the positive things in life. And I do believe that no matter how hard person's life is, there's probably silver linings and positive things in our lives that we can be grateful for. And so this one is kind of attempting to, there's a branch that goes all the way up. This one is bending it backwards, kind of trying to balance it. This one is also another personification. She's like hanging on to the branch to her dear life. I think maybe this is the one that's maybe personifying the fear in us. This is action. And this one is maintenance. She is just trying to make sure this rosebud is okay and growing and in taken care of. So she's very gentle here. So there you go. That is my story of the orbits. Wishing well. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm gonna take next week off, but I am going to try to stream on New Year's Eve because it is on a Wednesday. This year just happens all the major days off are on a Wednesday, but I thought it'd be fun to do a New Year's. But we'll see. Okay. Um, I'm trying to set it up right, but because I'm painting a horizontal painting vertically, and I don't know how great an idea that was. Okay, we'll set it right here. Okay, and then bear with me as I mix some paint. Or maybe you guys can come with me to mix the paint. Actually, yeah, let's do that. Oh, okay. My cord is long enough. Let's mix some paint. So I do have my wet palette out because I feel like I'm gonna probably use a lot of gouache today, that I'm gonna use my wet palette. And this is the brand of gouache I used. And these are some of my old things I don't really wash because I am going to spray some water on them to reactivate them. And that's the beauty of gouache, that you can do that too. And check out my little new cactus edition. I just got them. Aren't they cute? Actually, I stole these from my daughter. I got them for my daughter, and I just loved how cute they are, so I stole some from her. Okay, so I'm gonna just spritz some water on all these, the old palette, so that they get wetted. I might need them. And I kind of just spraying very gently because I've had this issue. I spray really hard and then they all like spill everywhere, which makes a mess for me. I'm gonna use a probably medium brush, medium brush, large brush. Medium. Okay, cool. I'm probably gonna use this one to mix the paint. Okay. So I do want to use a cool. So the orbit colors I planned was basically pulling the colors from all the paintings. So we have some green, some pink, and some blue. And those are the the RGB, I guess, the red, blue, and green. Oh wow. RGB colors for my orbit. So first I'm gonna do the pink one. And I know today I'm gonna use a lot of white. So I'm just gonna squeeze a tons of white out to start on the wet palette. And then I have some of this paint mix from last time, so I'm just gonna bring that over here. This is probably being cheap. I don't want to waste any paint because these paints are not cheap. So I want to just use as much of it as I can. And I think I'm probably not alone in this. Okay. And now I'm gonna squeeze. Let's see, I always make the mistake of making too little paint. So I'm gonna try to not do that today. So this is a cool red. The Carmen is a cool red. One day, Hajir, I'm proudly to say that I'm actually, I think, done with Christmas shopping this year. Oh, Jesus. Just got some paint on my cable. Awesome. I joke by the end of my live stream, my camera sometimes is like covered in paint, like today. And I have a white camera, so I hate that. Let me clean this up. But sometimes some things cannot be helped. And yeah, Trevor, I'm sure the whole world knows about all the what happened last Sunday in Australia. I hope I think you're not close to what happened there, but I'm wondering how the country is doing, how everybody's reacting, and how you're feeling about it. And if it's too private, then you just let me know, okay? But I think it's important. Maybe we talked about this. And then so that's a very, I think a bit too pink, so I'm gonna bring some blue over. Also with the wet palette, the good thing about it is like if I have dried up wash, I can just bring it these pebbles on here, and in a few minutes they'll soften up and loosen up. That's white. Did I make it too blue? Maybe that's not too blue. A little bit. I think I added a little bit earlier, but I want to dilute it for the first layer and then thicken it up slowly. But I think I added a little bit too much blue because now it looks very purple. Mixing a lot of white into this, and it's not even making a dent. Jeez. Tone is good. And I think I finally have enough. Finally have enough paint for once. A little palette knife here to get that blue green out. Okay. Let's see, what color do we have here? Oh, that is so purple. Let's keep going, keep adding red. And I'm being very careful about not adding a warm red because I think that was gonna make this color muddy immediately. Okay, now it's nice and mauvey, nice and pinkish, not purplish, I think. Right. Okay. It looks way more purple on paper than it is on the palette, huh? Also, but I like this consistency right now. It's super nice and creamy. Compared to my flower, though, I think I need to still make it more red. This part I don't love, and it takes forever to mix paint to the shade I want. But if you like to watch this paint being mixed, this is probably fun. Okay, well, I can't believe it, but I should use just all my white. Let's get some more white out. Yes, still fuzzy. Oh wow, yeah. It's gonna take a bit to process, I think. It's a similar thing happened to me actually. I was in Washington, D.C. with my child, and there was also a shooting here in the same location that I was just a week ago at the time. So yeah, it's kind of weird to know. And I was reading, all the people were like, oh, you just never know with life, I guess. That also makes me feel like we really have to just not take anything for granted because really so much could happen in a short period of time to any of us. Yes, but I'm glad, I'm glad everybody's safe. Everybody is safe and unaffected. And it just really not nonsense, no sense. Crazy that things like this happens in this world. Okay, you guys probably see me mixing this paint for a good deal of time. Okay, I think I'm gonna use this color now. It's so strange. I'm gonna use this white here to blend, so hopefully we get the in-between color. Yes. So I'm gonna load this brush with white and the other brush in that pink color. And then let's go for it. And I'm gonna set this right here and hopefully not move around too much as I'm finishing this. Okay. Was there anything on your guys' holiday list this year? Anything that you're wishing for the Christmas? I do have a super creamy texture for my gouache though. It always makes me so happy when I get that. And now I'm realizing I just need to use a ton of paint to get that. That's the trick. I'm glad that I'm starting off with gouache because I think if you guys have been in my live stream before, if I start with watercolor and then get into gouache, it's always like that weird, awkward transition time when I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, what do I do? Because I'm using totally different medium. Okay, I gotta remember light is coming from this way actually. Okay, so I need to make this lighter. I try to remind myself of the light source constantly. It helps. Hello, Diablo girl, welcome back. So nice having you. How's your day been? Are you ready for Christmas? Are you ready for holidays? I was just sharing that I actually can't wait for the Christmas break because it's the first. I always feel bad about taking breaks because I feel like I'm slacking off, but during Christmas, I feel like everybody's taking a break, so I don't feel so bad. That's probably some sort of neurosis. But yes, thank you for coming for joining me again today. I am working on the gouache part of this painting. I usually do my little creatures in gouache instead of watercolor because I like the differentiation that it makes. And I think you just heard me say it's so awkward always when I switch from watercolor to gouache because there's like that little transition period when I don't know what to do. And hello, Omar. Good afternoon. Thank you. I'm actually just getting started because I was mixing paint and it took me forever. And I was just sharing that's the part I don't love. But yes, I am here I'm working on the gouache part of my painting, the little orbits, and I think I might go back and add some gouache to my flowers after I'm done. After I'm getting warmed up with gouache. And if you guys have any, gouache is fun, it's very versatile. Yes, it is. It is something that I recently picked up actually, so I feel like I'm definitely better with watercolor than I am with gouache. But it is so similar. Gouache reminds me of painting with acrylic or oil paint. And I always compare watercolor as painting with water, and then gouache is like you're painting with a paint. So it's like I had to remember how to paint with the paint. So I blend a little to remind myself of the light source. The only thing about tricky part, well, not only thing, one of the things about gouache is like it dries so fast. I had to remind myself to work fast. I had to make myself work fast. I am using a wet palette today, so hopefully the paint itself will dry, but it dries fast on the brush, so there's that issue. Got some water. But yes, I do love how versatile it is and the coverage it has. I sometimes use white gouache as like a whiteout to cover up some watercolor mistake. There's a little bit you can do, not too much. Yes, it dries very quickly, like it dries quickly like acrylic. Yes. I recently looked up that there's this medium called aqua impasto. It's like a medium you can mix with gouache to slow down the drying. So it's in my cart to try, but I haven't tried it yet. I haven't bought it yet. And I actually, for the rest of the painting, I added a little bit white gouache to my watercolor to add a little bit opacity. Yes. So this, I did use white gouache for some of these parts. And then this part, I mixed a little bit white gouache with my watercolor paint to give it a little bit of different finish, I guess. It's more matte and it's more opaque. I think I like it. I'm not sure yet. I do love the creaminess of gouache though, like how it's coming from this way. Shoot, I probably should have been white. And I also like that you can reactivate gouache on paper with a little bit of water if you want to rework certain areas. Yes. I am painting this horizontal painting vertical painting horizontally, which probably wasn't the best idea. Now that I'm going through it, but what can you do? You just charge forward. And I can see I'm probably gonna go back to some of the shadow area with a little bit blue as contrast. So yeah, I shared in the beginning, I think Trevor was here, that This painting, even though I would say complexity-wise, it's not my most complex one, I feel like I'm having a lot of trouble with it for some reason. Maybe the size, maybe the scale. And I share that that's why we experiment with things, so we find our edges. I think I definitely found an edge with this painting. But finding edge also means you're pushing through it. And that means growth, which is super exciting. But yeah, how's your week been, Diablo Girl? And Omar, if you're still here, you might not be um, ready for Christmas, done with your Christmas shopping, or do you celebrate Christmas? It's coming from this way, so this is probably a bit dark here. Let's put it here. And also, I was right because I think remember last time I was like, oh, I don't know how about this painting's gonna turn out, but I usually tell myself judge it the next day, and then I worked on it some more the next day, and now I'm like, okay, this is cool. Something's happening here. Flo- Oh, it's okay. Like, but you know, Christmas came early. That's cool too. And yeah, I think it might be the scale of it because I find myself using a bigger brush, mixing more paint, just and then light and shadow and all that feels so different when it's bigger. So yes, I think that has a lot to do with it. I have all my don't tell anybody, but I have all my present for my kid in the closet, and I had like a panic dream last night where she found the closet, and I was like, I need to probably have a drape over it just in case she opens that closet. Yeah, panic dream. Can you believe it? I think there's a Simpson episode about that at some point. And with gouache, I remind myself that I really don't mind some of these more streaky, like brushstroke effects, because I think that when I look at paintings, especially oil paintings, those are the part that I love the most, right? So I'm trying to not overblend. But I also don't want to look messy. Fine balance. I got caught. Okay, so by you saying that, I'm just like preparing myself. That's probably gonna happen at one of these years. Hopefully it's not this year, but one of these years it's probably gonna happen, huh? What can you do, kind of thing. It's coming from this way, a little bit reflective light, so it probably needs a little bit more white light here. So Diablo girl, what kind of art do you usually work on? Are you working on anything right now? What's your art practice like? I mean, I don't think we talked about it. Hopefully she's not watching you later. She's 6, so no, probably not. Overblending issue for me, except that part should have sharp shadows. I struggle, yes, yes, yes. I struggle with that with watercolor. I think I want to say I'm getting better at it, but I had to constantly remind myself. And then it's also not the best use of time. Yeah, sometimes blending could take forever, and I could be working on other parts of the painting. So I just switched to a bigger brush to blend because I feel like my other brush just wasn't cutting it. Yeah, we'll see how this dries. I'm struggling. Oh, digital portrait. Oh, that's a whole different beast, I say. Digital is probably more, from my experience, it's similar to acrylic painting, and I guess by nature a little bit of gouache painting, but it's also so different. I do love that digital have a control Z. um, that's how we're doing this. The first, my first go at it first. First layer, first wash. Skin is tough with digital. Try to avoid the whole plastic digital look. Oh yes. How do you get your skin tones? So I used to like just get a picture of somebody I like, just random person's photo I find on the internet, and then just like eye drop their skin tone. I'll make a swatch on the side of the canvas, like the mid tone highlights and the dark tone. But I feel like everybody has a different technique. That was like my cheap way of getting it, is just use a photo example. But yeah, how do you get your skin tone? See, I have like these little orbits. There's, it's not huge area of the painting, but sometimes it will take me just as much time, if not more, to complete because of these blending. I catch myself that I fall into, I guess. Mm. Reference and then try to figure shadow and highlights by observation. Gotcha. Thumb it's grabbing, so this part's going to be shadowy, and the rest part is probably going to be light. Yes. They are usually very warm toned. Yes, and I guess you should be using cool tone for shadows. And then the other trick I have, on the color wheel palette, I think I remember it's been a while since I did digital painting, but you're supposed to move diagonally to pick the color, not up and down, or something like that. I'm sure in practice it's very different. And I think you're so right. With digital, it's so easy for it to look like plasticky, like a figurine instead of human face, I guess. Hello, Roslyn. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. Hi, Rose. I'm just gonna call you Rose Ross. Hi, what technique do you use? You mean right now? Right now I am using gouache paint to paint this my board beds. I don't know if there's a technique to it. I'm just using, I don't know what technique this is, but I'm using the color I mixed, some white for highlights for now. I'm gonna go back in to add a third color as a shadow, probably a cool blue kind of thing, and I'm blending as much as I can without it being over blend. And this is always a part, could go either way. But yes, gouache is what I'm painting using. People use blues and purples for shadows, orange and red for base tones, and yellow for highlights. Oh yeah, that sounds awesome. Depends on skin, yes, of course. Yes, I like to use yellow sometimes for highlights for sure. Because for my paintings, yellow brings like a little bit of sunshine, quote unquote, into my flowers and my scenery. But for this one though, I feel like the whole thing is very cool toned. So I've only used a little bit yellow for the center of the flowers. But the painting I'm planning for next already, I'm gonna, I think, start with a yellow ochre kind of wash, and then I'm gonna go in with some red, and then slowly adding the cool tone as shadows. We'll see how that goes. And I was just sharing with earlier with Trevor when earlier, I think he was the only one here, that I'm having this painting is turning out completely different than how I had imagined. For better or for worse. Looking really good. Oh, thank you so much. Um, I hope it looks better by the time I'm done with it. So she's kind of grabbing the thing right now. And now it's, there's a lot of white and you'll get better. You'll get better. Okay, so here. I think we're good here. These are my eyeball creatures. In my mind, they kind of personify our thoughts, Our thoughts are in our heads. We actually don't know what they look like. So imagine if they're outside our heads, what would they look like? And this is what I think they will look like. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. It's heartbreaking. But I'm sure you'll do an amazing job of capturing them. I know my little chihuahua is 14 now. He's getting there. And every time I think about that, when the inevitable day comes, like what kind of mess that will be. I can't imagine it. It's really a shame that they live there with us such a short period of time in our lives, Okay. Yeah, I feel like I'm a little bit more warmed up now. This blending went better, I think. And then I should do a little bit of hard cast shadow here. But I'm probably gonna go back to it in the blue tone I was just talking about. And then she has her little stigma, or her little antennae on top to wrap around this branch as leverage. Because she's trying to, balance our minds and our thoughts. That's the action. And she also has a little eyeball on top of it for this one. I do them with different things sometimes, but I guess all the time. The end of these orbits always are something different. But for this dead, I think I have them all have eyeballs at the end as well. So eyeballs also have eyeballs. Chew on that. Oh my god, that's heartbreaking. That's so sad. But see, it just shows you that heartbreak does have a physical effect too, right? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm gonna use the gosh. Well, I'm sure your portrait will be amazing. And then I'm sure you'll hang it up and have a little reminder for your buddies. So I am just blending now. I guess my technique has been I put in the dark tone color and then the white in the middle as highlights for now, and then blend the in between. And that is something I probably wouldn't have to do with watercolor. I can just, the water itself will do a trick, will do that thing for me. So I guess in some ways watercolor is easier in that aspect. But now I actually have to manually blend it, and I don't know if I do the best job every single time. But this is also pretty fun, actually. The pushing the paint around is very therapeutic. You got a sweet kitty now? Oh, you know, it's funny. I got a sweet kitty couple years ago, and you know, just A, it was just accidental, but B, I think because my dog is getting old, I feel like having a little young buddy would be good for him, and they've been awesome together. I love them together. They actually became better friends now, my cat and my dog. They sleep next to each other now, and they also follow each other around in the house. It's funny. Cats are amazing too. My cat is a young cat, so I can totally see the difference between an old dog, you know, like a mature person versus a kid. She's just a kid. She acts like a kid, get in trouble, and then he'll just sit there like watching her, like, what are you doing? It can, and I can also see it in his facial expression. Sometimes it's pretty funny. Okay, so I like yes, 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 okay. I'm gonna do the eyeball here, and then the collar, and then these colors. Add a little bit of dark color here. Hello, Ting. How are you? Thanks for dropping by and saying hi. Beautiful girl. Thank you so much. I am working on the gouache part of this painting, and I'm struggling a bit. Cool. Then wash my brush. You know what I should have done? I should have had a paintbrush just for mixing. It seems obvious now, huh? And then I use a brush to paint. That's not my mixing brush. I do that with watercolor. I don't know why I didn't do that with my gouache. And so for those of you who are just joining me, this is the rest of the painting. We have this mask with these flowers inspired by Ikebana coming out. And I'm working on these creatures that's hanging on, that's on top of, that's part of the theme, part of the story, I guess. Let's just say. Okay, so she's lights coming from this way. Could add a little bit of purple shade here. You guys see? Yes. A little bit of purple shade. And then under the flowers where I imagine we'll have a hard shadow. Probably didn't need to blend this part. And I think for sure the gouache part takes me longer time to do than the watercolor part, with all the reasons I stated before that watercolor kind of does half of the job for me. And then and I mentioned before that when with gouache, when it dries versus when it's wet, it looks completely different. So sometimes when the area hasn't been completely dried, I think it's that color and I just blend. But I've learned that I need to stop and let it dry first and then see how it actually is, because it might be very different than what I think it is right now. And I say that out loud to remind myself as well. Watercolor makes spreading paint easier. Yeah, for sure. Like it just blends itself without me having to do too much. In fact, I'm trying to not blend at all with watercolor if I can help it. I can't help it sometimes though. I'm probably not doing myself any favors, but over blend watercolor. I do have to say I'm getting better at it though. Like stop myself, just let it do its thing. I think it's pretty with this purplish color. Okay, so I think do a little bit of purple here. Okay, so her arm is over her body, so with this part of body cast a shadow. Awkward, 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 awkward angle for me. Again, I'm never doing this again. Painting horizontal, painting vertical, vertical painting horizontally. Why did I think that was a good idea? I don't know. My goal today is definitely get this painting done though. So, see. Shoot. I caught myself, but that almost made a dent here. No, I don't know how I could have recovered from that. Oh, thank you, Trevor. So that part looks good. I think the light's coming from this way. There's a little bend here, but I should do this. I don't bend there. I think we're good here. I'm gonna add a little bit of purple just here. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next color. Oh. Let my eyes rest from this part, and then we'll come back to it to see if anything needs to be adjusted, fixed. do feel like when I use gouache, I feel like, oh, this is like painterly. I feel like a painter. This is what it feels like. And I like that feeling, I guess. Start with this area right now. And then, so this eyeball part, I like to bring down the color from the top to give the area some color, because our eyeballs are not, the white part's actually not actually white. Just ever so slightly. And then we're going to do a green color for the eyeballs. It's more like an olive green, I guess, color mixing right now. I thought the green will contrast well with this mauvey color. Just make sure the shape is what I want. Also, just generally surprised at how much paint I'm using on a bigger painting. Because believe it or not, when I use watercolor, I don't use a whole lot of paint. It's a little bit of watercolor paint goes a long way. It's like the opposite of gouache, I feel like. It's always less than you think it actually is. Do a little blending because I did a little bit of whiter color in the middle because your eyeball to give it that spherical look. Yes. And yes, if you guys have any questions about what I'm doing, what I'm using, feel free to jump in the chat. Not sure which medium, watercolor or gouache requires more patience. I guess the art pursuit is a game of patience to begin with for some people, maybe, or maybe not for everyone. It's definitely a practice of patience for me, though. I find myself wanting to rush through things and then just end up not working out. Just like with anything in life, right? If you want it to be good, you just gotta take your time. Here we go. So far, so good. I like her green eyes, her emerald eyes. That's cute. And then add a little bit of brown for the iris, the middle part of the, I don't think that's called iris actually, the retina. The aperture. I'm gonna leave that one, probably go back with a nicer, sharper brush to make that round, and then it'll reflect the light next to it. But I'm going to let everything dry first. I think I'll do this in the blue color and then yellow color here. Well, yellow, and by yellow I mean it's probably gonna be like a ochre, cool yellow, brownish color. So I'm painting this right now with a pretty watery layer. And I think I'm gonna go back in and blend with a thicker paint and let's see how that goes. I'm still just learning all sorts of new things about gouache every time I work with it. And I swear it depends on the day. Sometimes some things work and the other times it just doesn't. I don't know why. I guess that's a difference between an expert and someone who's still learning, huh? But I guess we'll always be learning. No matter, I'm sure the experts are still learning too. There's always new aspects, things we can learn. And how watery gouache on top of watery gouache also gives a kind of interesting. I see the paint is spreading a little bit, but in a totally different way as watercolor. That's interesting. This might be the last painting I do this year, but we'll see. So I really want to complete it because I don't want to leave it. I don't want to leave this until next year. I want to finish this year strong. So okay, let's do that went pretty okay, pretty trauma free, I say. Okay, now let's blend this up a little bit. Yes. And I hate these white gaps between shapes. And that always happens with me with gouache. I don't know why. So let's blend this out. Oh, and I just discovered that this part probably leave a shadow, cast shadow too. Yes, that's better. Then I'm gonna do the top here in a blue color. See, do I have any blue mixed already? Yes, a little bit. It's not bad for base blue, okay. I feel like myself more warmed up from the beginning. Meaning I feel slightly less clumsy, I guess, with the paint. But yes, it's probably in my own head. So blue to I did get myself a little color wheel after last time. I have a new TV series Portrait Artist of the Year. It's been interesting to watch. Good to see a painting series again. Oh, that's cool. Like Bob Ross kind of, or it's like a competition. That sounds super interesting. I feel like in America, at least I don't know any. It's a lot of like, um, it's a lot of series. I don't know if there's ever an artist series actually, like a show like that. With a lot of love shows, love, finding your mate, a lot of some fashion, top model, Project Runway, but yeah, I don't know any art related. And now I'm like, why not? Some food for thought, huh? I'm just laying down like all the patches of colors right now. I'm gonna go back and blend them. It probably looks super ugly right now. Competition style. Wow, that's so cool. I hope they bring that here because that'll be cool to see, huh? Yeah, I don't think America has any shows like that. Hmm. Wow. Australia did export Bluey to us, and now I think a lot of kids are obsessed with it, so maybe that'll happen here soon. And if you don't know who Bluey is, it's a cartoon that I think that was originated in Australia, and then now it's on Disney in America. And I'm learning all sorts of Australian lingos. You know, I don't even mind how patchy it is now that I'm stepping back a little. Good to see you again. Yeah, for sure. I'm holding my breath, just realized. It takes a ride. Oh yes, for sure. Bluey has certainly took over America for a little bit now. And it's such a good show. There's a couple up episodes I definitely like teared up watching. It's good. And I don't know if Disney in America is doing so hot right now with all their not so great shows. Okay. I like let's blend a little bit in this area. I'm not trying to overdo it. Okay. Okay, we got the first orbit done. Do probably want to go back and do something here, but the head looks nice. Oh, green. So she also has like an eyeball on top, but this one is more a more cartoony of an eyeball, a secondary eyeball. A little bit more sinister than the other one, I think. Okay, now let's move on to the next orbit. Next one, I think. I don't know how I'm gonna paint this one all the way over there. I probably have to stand on a stool for sure. Progress check. I'll probably go back and add some cast shadow in watercolor here. Right here, I see some white spots I need to cover. And then I'm gonna do the lashes, usually the last step. There's a little bit of lashes here. I don't know if you guys can see. I'm gonna do that in the last step. But now let's move on to this one. This one makes me laugh. She's so funny. Okay, let's do it right here. Here we go. Cool. So allow me to make some paint, and I'll be right back. I do want to mix a little bit of that olive kind of green again. So it's green, a cool green. I'm putting tons of white, and then some cool brown. Too much of that paint I mixed. see. Go back to see any area I need to. Okay, let's not do that right now. Okay. I'm getting OCD because I see a patch of the first orbit I just finished that has definitely more blending in them, but we'll come back to it. Let's see, how is this green doing? Ooh, more gray than green, but I don't hate it actually. It's a very cool, cool green. Is it too cool? Maybe it's too cool. Let's get some white, load some white. I have a blender brush in my hand, some green and some white all ready to go at the same time. Okay, so the light's coming from this way. This one might go better. This one might go smoother since it's my second one. I do feel like once I put the orbits in, my paintings usually come alive. Before then, just setting up the backdrop. A lot of times I feel. I don't know if it's always true, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. But maybe because I know when I'm painting the orbits, I'm kind of towards the end of the painting, or middle to the end. So I feel that way mentally, but yeah, I don't know. Also, this is such a weird angle. Also, just from my experience today, bigger brush to blend is better. It's easier. Love the green things. Yeah, I like this dusty green, huh? think I see opportunities where I can go back and use some like brighter greens for some areas. That might give it a nice little contrast. I do love the coverage of gouache. It's nice, opaque. So yes, this one is hanging on to her dear life. To the branches. And then the shadow part, the shadowier part, shadowier, is that a word? The shadow part, I mix some brown in right away. To start the blending process. Didn't do it too soon. Oops, not what I want. Yeah. Oh, hello, Graphic. Welcome. How are you? Woohoo! Happy holidays. Hope you're doing well today. How's the day been going, Graphic? Are you doing better? Same. Mish. And thanks for stopping by, as always. I am currently struggling through, I joke, but I'm going through the gouache part of my painting, my surreal painting that I started last week. Better, I guess. I'll take that. Slightly better, but not a whole lot. I take it as. But I think that's progress, maybe? I'm hoping for progress, maybe? So one leg is like on top of another with the branch in the middle. I think you can probably see that. Cool, cool. brown part. See guys, when I have the paint that's too watery, it's not as opaque and it does this thing. Hopefully this water will get absorbed by the area that was already dry, so when I blend, it'll just look right. Let's be thicker. What do we do? There we go. So I'm adding more paint to my mix to get it be thicker again. I think I added a little too much water last round. So this tells me that the back part needs to be even darker. Just curious, whoever's watching, when you paint, what do you think about? I just took a note that when I paint, I don't really think about anything else, which is kind of awesome. And I guess that's why painting is such a therapeutic action. So you can see that this area wasn't, how do I say, thick enough, so it's a little bit patchy. I probably had to go back and add more paint. Let's do that real quick. Actually, I have some brown paint. The darker shade already mixed, so I'm gonna use that first and then go back and mix the green tone again. Hasn't gone live for half a year. It doesn't go to anyone else's lives. Worries me. Oh, that's not good. Unusual behavior. Sometimes artists do need a reset though. Maybe that's what it is. But yeah, that's unusual. But she hasn't like shut down her accounts or anything, right? Okay, so this part's body brown. And I said this part was the belly part, definitely shadowy. And then maybe this part's a little shadowy here. Also, I guess when I'm live, my thoughts are just what I'm saying out loud, literally. Wash off. Whoa. She means well. Hmm. Sometimes maybe we just need to take a little break from the usual to get, reset, re-energize, have a new perspective for the new year. Maybe she's worried that you'll be there. Sorry. Maybe it's not like that. So I'll just shut up now. Okay. Have you been going live yourself, Graphic? I don't think I've seen you on YouTube. And I haven't checked TikTok. Also, is TikTok still on today? I read something that it might be shut down today, but no one knows apparently. So I'm gonna think that's probably not real news, fake news. Okay. Yeah. I think I find myself enjoying painting the head way more than the body. I really should add some new colors to the body to bring it up a little, huh? YouTube died forever for me because stuff, but I've been going live. YouTube died forever for me. Oh, that's good. Gotta go check it out. It's funny, I went live on TikTok a couple times and I haven't done it since actually. I wonder if I still have the access. Oh, not the color I want. I find TikTok live is a bit overwhelming for me. But I guess just with everything else, it's a process. I probably stopped before I got used to it. But yeah, if anybody streams here, definitely let me know your experience with other platforms. So I'm adding the highlight part now. You can see. The algorithm is so bad and I keep losing. Oh, on YouTube? Interesting. Maybe YouTube hasn't quite gotten to know you and understand you yet. Not to say I'm doing much better, but at least. So then I think the right thing to do would be go wherever people show up for you. I think that's most important. Okay, what was I doing? Okay. Oh no, not that. Emerald green or permanent green? Let's try permanent green. I should just try emerald green, which is a slightly, oh, green paint. So interesting. So from my experience with green paint in oil, and now I'm experiencing in gouache, is that it dries faster than the other paint. Not sure why. Something I just discovered. It's just me, though. Other people have been better experienced. Yeah, I think everyone's experience is slightly different everywhere, to be honest. And I wish I have an answer, but I don't. Besides maybe each platform has their own personality, and the people who are on it also are slightly different, right? So that to me, just graphic, you have a younger audience, maybe, which is awesome. I wonder if there are tools out there that can analyze this for us. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure you and me, not the only one wondering about this. I hate this part where I mix a paint and it's not quite the same. But you've been going back to your slightly darker kind of art now? I do find it interesting that, like, I always feel like, oh, I found this art, this style, or this subject. That's what I'm gonna do. And then a few months later, something changes. And I guess that probably means growth. Sometimes it's like something I can't even hope. Okay, so because my paint that I mixed is kind of different from the previous, I'm just gonna go around and do it for the whole thing. This is when I lose some time. I do because I have like a man child. That's good to hear. You gotta do you, you know? And you sound really excited when you answer that question, so I think that tells you something. Also, for everybody who's watching, if you haven't noticed, I sometimes act as a resident therapist. And I've been told by my friends that give pretty good advice in general. And graphic, don't say anything. Okay, I'm gonna leave this be and come back in a second. Oh, I do want to add a little bit darker color though here. A darker, cooler color. See how that turns out. I'm holding 4 brushes right now. Agreed about the art part graphic. And especially when they say, and I think that's a general consensus, that artist's art is a reflection of their emotions and inner self, right? And if you don't like someone's art, probably and make them change, probably there's a bigger issue there. At least I think so. I think my art is absolutely kind of a reflection of who I am, not to like, I don't know, pat my own back. It's not even patting my back. I'm just like expressing a person, a personality, I guess. I absolutely think my art is a reflection of who I am. So if you don't like pretty dreamy art, then you probably won't like me as a person. So there's that. Okay, so I'm going in to darken some of the areas that give it the darkest value, and I added some brown to the green to get that color. And I try to not to give unsolicited advice, but I can't help but being honest sometimes. Probably don't always work well for myself, but I also believe that some things just had to be said. And if we were all honest, this world would be a better place. And I want the world to be a better place. So there's that. Oh my gosh, I'm spending way too much time on this right now. You're nodding off, but That's okay. I'm there with you spiritually. But thanks for telling me. If you need to take a nap because of hearing this relaxing music and my relaxing radio voice, I will not be offended at all. Um, let's do a little bit of here. Yeah, I start doing this thing when I'm over blending, so I need to like back out, back off. So I guess in some ways, graphic, you're oh shit, finding yourself again. How does that feel? Maybe not by choice, but we have arrived to this point. Okay, I need to do the top now. Where am I with my paint? Not bad. I think I enjoy painting the head of my orbits way more. Note about that. Probably need to figure out why that. I joke about being the resident therapist because I don't know, I think I'm a pretty decent listener and I want to solve problems. So that's why. But also, I was just thinking that there is this maybe graphic you agree. But well, I think you're a pretty open person. Maybe you're not the best person, but I feel like a lot of people have issues with saying what they mean in real life because to their friends and family because you have to see them all the time and maybe there's afraid of judgment and then consequences. But when you're on the internet, then when you're talking to me, maybe there's not that pressure. And I find that maybe sometimes you can be more open and more honest with a stranger such as myself. So yeah, let me know what you think. Type of Bub spoke me. I thought I was like, was that Thai? That looks like Thai. Oh, thank you, Trevor. I appreciate that. I don't think I'm any different on screen, off screen. I'm probably nicer on screen, I guess. Because I do feel like when I'm on screen, there's like no bad days, quote unquote. Although I feel like lately it's not true either. I think it's a matter of aligning your heart with your mind. And once that's aligned, which you'd be surprised how not aligned most of us are. And hence, I think that we have a lot of inner conflicts because of that. But once that's aligned, really nothing bothers me. But thank you, Trevor. I appreciate that. Falling asleep. You should take a nap. Sleep is important. Do you know sleep is the if I feel I don't think modern people get enough sleep, but apparently if you have enough sleep, a lot of your mental problem could also be resolved, like anxiety, maybe not depression, but definitely I know anxiety could be a lot of times because we have so much cortisol built up in our body, and a big reason might be not sleeping enough. And we stay up, late watching media, watching shows. It's really hard to turn that off sometimes. And I'm convinced that all the tech company just wants to turn us into zombies by selling them all our waking attention and time. So yeah, why did I say this? Oh yeah, so Cafe, you need to go take a nap, please do. You did do that too, actually. Okay, that's pretty cool. It's a little patchy, but maybe that's okay. Like he can't even type straight. He should go to bed. But take a nap. Nap's awesome. Americans don't take nap. I know in Chinese culture, like and European culture, I guess a siesta, taking naps is such an important part. Maybe not anymore. Read Modern Life, I just talked about. Antennae here. I am so focused on getting this done today. My second orbit, I see I have a third one to do. That's gonna be interesting. And I think once all my orbits are down, I go over the entire and see where else I need it. I already mentioned earlier that there's some backgrounds I want to work on more. And we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what ends up, what comes up. This eyeball here. Oh, you guys can't really see it. Once I color, you will see it's it's starting to look like a tadpole to me. Naps are kind of gross. Why? No way. Nonsense. Why are naps gross? I love naps. Oof. And some white in the middle for the highlight. Then I'm gonna start blending. This emerald green color is apparently also a very trendy interior design color right now, maybe for next season. So I remind myself maybe I need to do more color in this green color. I'm more painting in this green color. Also, I just started watching the show Pluribus on Apple TV, if anybody's watching that. Super interesting. It kind of made me feel like if that was going to happen to all of us because of the AI tools everyone's using. No new content, everything's recycled. Two green, two emerald. And again, if you guys have any questions about what I'm doing, what I'm painting, feel free to ask. And if you have any life issues that needs to be solved, you can also share if you don't mind. Ooh, okay. Ooh. I'm glad I'm almost at the end of the book. I started with my brush, like each brush had a very distinct function, but now they're all just messed up with the colors. It's very similar green to what I've been in my house by chance. Oh, nice. Wait, I think maybe you'll show me pictures of them. Yeah, maybe I've seen it in your background, some of the photos you shared with me. Yeah, but yeah, did you hear that? This is apparently a very trendy interior design color. So you probably will start seeing them in or maybe already in Architectural Digest and things like that. All right. Okay. Gonna let it be, not overblend. And let's move on to the eyes. I'm gonna do the eyes in blue. I'm basically alternating these four colors, the pink, the yellow, the green, and the blue. Yeah. Alternating. Switching parts for each, but not adding new colors, if that makes sense at all to you. bring some of this green down. Oh, on the inside. Oh, on the inside and out. Wow. That's awesome. In America, you don't really see a whole lot of colorful exteriors because we have these HOAs that doesn't want anybody to do anything fun. And also they tell you because if you make your house like, fun color, then it's harder to sell and house value, blah, blah, blah. So you just see really boring colors here. But that's so cool that you have a greenhouse. Okay, we're gonna do a little blue for the center. So let me wash my brush. I don't need to wash the white because I already used it. That should be okay, yes. And then let me wash my blender brush because I want it to be clean. Now do blue, do yellow, and do pink. There you go. Okay. Very cool. I find it helpful to check on my painting through my camera screen. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but if you want to know how good your art is, like make it into thumbnail size to see if it still looks good. If you ever heard that before. And it's true. I check in my thumbnail. My thumbnail view. It's like, okay, that still looks good. That means it's good. Sometimes when the areas needs to be worked on more, I look into my thumbnail, aka the camera screen. I can immediately spot the parts that's not so good. Like I take this blue, right, and I check in my thumbnail, aka my camera screen, and I immediately notice that it's a little too bright. So let's do something about that. Bronze with green is a popular color here, very similar to the art. Oh, that's cool. I did not know that. So I add a little bit of what's this color? A little bit black actually. I don't know if we have the same rule for gouache, because in watercolor you're not supposed to use black whatsoever. Just try to avoid using black. But I'm wondering if the same rule applies. But anyways, I did add a little bit black to this blue to make it a little bit darker and a little bit moodier. It looks a little moodier to me. And I think that looks much better. It's pretty bright, yeah? Let's make it less bright. I do like bright colors, but I think harmony of the entire painting is important, and this painting is very moody and which probably just means my next painting is gonna be super bright and happy because I need a change. How do we look here? Okay, better. For the eyeball, this part, I do kind of want it to be really well blended, have that really nice gradient transition. So I did spend a lot of time blending. I wonder if I ever used acrylic, if I will blend the same way, or it's like something I had to relearn from start. This is a different medium. I definitely had to relearn from zero between wash blending versus watercolor blending. And I say watercolor blending is easier for me. Okay, I think I'm doing this thing when I'm overdoing it because it's like different wetness right now, so I'm gonna let the whole thing dry first and see where we are at. Okay. Okay, and then next, do a little bit of blue. I did blue. I'm gonna make this part a pink color. I think pink, green, pink, and blue make a nice contrast. Guess we'll find out. I'm gonna use the same shadowy color, which is purple. This pink color mixed with the same blue actually. Oh, too blue, I think. I'm gonna use blue as the shadow color, which really becomes purple. It's pretty. With a little bit of white on top. Hmm. Also looked up that with gouache, you can also add like medium, same medium as acrylic as to build up the body if you want to have a more of a like that 3D look and feel. Probably also something I will try in the new year. So many new things to try. So exciting. It's getting a little messy. think this area is a little too wet. I'm gonna let it dry first and see what I gotta do here. But the color's not bad. Oh, you know what? I forgot to paint the middle of the eyeball. I think something looks dead and I don't know what. That's what it is. So, let's make this bigger. You know, she said like in shock. So when you're in shock, or when you have when you experience extreme emotions, your iris. No, this is a retina. What is this part called? I should probably look this up. This gets bigger. I think. There you go. Let's see. I can darken with a little bit of blue still. Still wet here. It's a lesson of patience for me here. Okay. Do this part and this mustard yellow. I think that was like my most successful color in my previous one. By successful, I mean the blending, the shadow, everything kind of just happened. She is hanging out for her dear life. In fact, I want to say that she is probably messing with the balance of the branch. That's why the one underneath has to readjust it. I think that's an appropriate analogy for inner self sometimes, perhaps. I'm gonna use green as a shadow for these actually. how I painted. Green with a little bit of brown. White gaps here. How do we look? Okay. Bottom part is part of the shadows. I just had like a panic moment checking my computer's battery. I think last time was around this time we cut out. But we're good today, yay! Okay. Oops, well, tried. Because my layer of gouache wasn't very thick, it's actually all dried up now. Not ideal. I'm gonna go back and add a tiny bit of water to my brush and then reblend. And then hopefully YouTube algorithm won't be mad at me this time. Actually, it probably is mad at me. It'll take me a week or two to go back. So far, so good. Yes. The good thing is we know what happened, so I know how to fix it. I think half the battle in life is trying to figure out what the problem actually is. Because I do think that human beings are pretty good at fixing problems once they know what is broken. How do we feel about this part so far? think it's good so far. I am going to let this part dry and then come back to it. But yeah, so far so good. Maybe let's no, eyes to the second set of eyes to my little bit. This is like rolling her eyes. It's kind of funny. Okay. Okay, so how are we doing? Not bad. Good. Bring some color up here. I should do a little cast shadow here. That might be nice too. Oh. See, every time I bring my wet palette out, I somehow always end up just working on my dry palette. That tells you something, huh? I'll do a little bit of hard shadow underneath the flower petals. Nice. Let's do that here as well. Maybe more brown here for that particular part. Cool. Oh, I see a little petal that I was meant to do and didn't. Okay. Yeah, I think I want to darken these shadows more now. I think for that. Make myself not to blend too much here, because I really did like how strokey, brushy. of the other one. Okay. While this dries, it's like 99% done. I had to go back and do the eye white. Actually, let's do that right now because it is dry here and I think it will make a difference. Okay, so light's coming from this way. That's okay. What do you call this? I call them the glint, which is really just like the reflective light. And definitely something probably more anime art. Something I learned from anime, studying anime art. But my orbits are pretty cartoony, so. It makes the eyeball look glistening. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it doesn't look, just looks so much better as soon as I put that on, at least to me. Let's do a little bit of white highlight here. Maybe a little bit of white highlight here. Actually, I usually do this part in the end, so I probably should do that. Let's not get carried away here. This one, I seem to have already left that. Look at the coverage of this white gouache. White gouache cover this area. Okay, now I need to do that one. Excuse me. That one orbit that's on the top of my paper. It's gonna be a little awkward to paint. Let's see. Okay, let's do a little progress check. Really cute. It's like branching, hanging on to her dear life. Love how the mask turned out, still love it. Okay, now I have this little orbit right here. Okay, it's gonna be a little bit tricky to do this. I don't want to overwhelm you with my forehead. Okay, try not to look at the tiny screen there. So I had to like lean over my paper to paint. Okay. But first, oh, I love it actually, now that I'm pulling a little back. Nice. Okay. It's always a little scary when I'm like deep, like full on, face on words, like focused, zoomed in, but when I zoom out, it looks good. So that's a relief. I think I'm gonna do white, blue. Blue, white, blue, blue. Okay. Sorry. I've just decided that after this painting, I probably need to clean my wash palette. It's kind of getting out of control. Mm, yeah. Okay. Okay, so I love how it's turning out. Yay. And I can even see the areas I need to refine, and it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be pretty awesome once I'm done. Can I say that about my own art? And then after this orbit, we'll see where I am energy-wise. If I want to, I'm probably gonna finish the rest of it off screen, but we will see where I am. I also believe that the refining part is probably not that entertaining to watch, so maybe I'll spare you guys. But first, let's finish this. Okay. Okay. Oh, shit. Why did I do this? Okay. I almost tipped my table over. That would not be good. Cover it with the blue first. So it's definitely not how I wanted to start. This part's probably pretty satisfying to watch. Because it's the first layer, I did make it a little bit watery so that I can cover more areas. But I'm also realizing maybe I don't need to do that. Serious, Trevor. I'm trying to not like flip my entire table over right now, actually, because I'm leaning on my paper. On my paper, which is on my table, which is really which is not secured, actually. My table is actually just a giant piece of board sitting on another table because it's so freaking big. Yeah, it's a little bit of skill involved right now to balance it all. White. I like that this one, the hand is covering the eyeballs a little bit. It is a new kind of view for me. And I really next want to try how to use gouache and watercolor in a more abstract way. It's something I've been experimenting with. More to come in the new year. I try to think back, like when I did watercolor in the beginning, did I toggle back and forth between different techniques until I settled on the one that I was comfortable with? And I want to say yes. So I think I'm currently going through that right now with gouache. Because I noticed that like I start the process slightly differently for each area. That's probably not ideal, and I should not do that. I don't want to be messy, and I feel a little bit messy right now. I should focus on one area at a time. It's gonna be bird. I am kind of just mixing the paint on the paper right now because I want to block out the light and dark area quickly. I'm not sure it's the best practice, but it's for real. Okay, now we're gonna mix the to darken blue. Darken blue. I think I need to use a little bit of purple, actually. I hope it's the right choice. So I'm looking at my color wheel. To darken blue, I'm supposed to use a yellow. Is that right? Maybe green is my girl. So according to the, I feel like I should know this, but according to the color wheel, to darken the blue, I'm supposed to use yellow. But I'm not sure if they'll make it too bright. So I'm going to use green color instead. See how that goes. Am I using the wrong brush right now? Proceed with caution. So I end up mixing some purple to get the color I think I want. Not by much. Gosh, okay. So the color wheel was not wrong. To contrast with blue, I did add some mustard yellow, cool yellow, but I also added some purple to give that cool tone. And I think I like that result. This was very tricky. Probably more tricky than it needs to be. Yes. But yay, I consulted with my color wheel. Yeah, I actually couldn't believe that I didn't have a color wheel in my studio. Well, I guess realizing I haven't needed it until recently, which also, I guess, tells me something. Also, painting at this angle is really hard, and I can't even see the whole painting. Like, I can't see the whole. Oh, how should I say this? I don't really have a good view of what I'm painting, which is probably best. And I'm hoping I'm not screwing anything up. Ooh, that was a nice blend. think the body has been the hardest part for me to paint. Once we get through that, I think it becomes way easier. You're on time, okay. Okay. Oh, thank you. I mean, I don't think I'll always get to paint in the optimal condition, and I think it probably same goes with a lot of artists, and we just had to learn to push through. In fact, I almost think that in less optimal conditions, that's when we get breakthroughs, because we're like pushing our limits, maybe. Maybe that's too extreme to call my current condition as pushing the extreme. It's really not that bad. I'm just complaining. But it's a quote unquote pushing extreme, and I think that's when we find new discoveries, we find new things about ourselves, perhaps. You can see I probably do a little bit of cast shadow into the shadow. Almost really like, I say this every time, don't I? The strokiness of it all. I just love it when paintings are painterly, and I'm trying to achieve that effortlessly. Which is not possible, as I find. I do see that this area is all different kind of wetness right now, so I'm probably should let everything dry and then reassess the next course of action. So I have a feeling that it probably doesn't look as bad as I think it does. But happy to report this is kind of the first time I am mixing yellow into my blue to get the shadow. And it's scary. We're almost there, guys. Thank you so much for your patience. Darker. Oh, no, it's not that color, is it? It's better. Hmm. I'm gonna work on the head now. I'm sure as soon as I get off the live screen, I'm gonna go to the other side of my table and finish painting the rest of this. Let's move the camera up here a little bit. I guess I'll do the eyeballs in the pink color, huh? That'll be interesting. A little pink eye. It might be nice since it's looking at this flower. Oh, hi, Ken. Hello, hello. Welcome. Such a rich blue. Yes, you missed the part I was struggling though. Um, so yes, I have this nice, awesome blue, and I was trying to make a shadow color for it, and I had to consult my color wheel for the first time. And realizing to get these shadows, I had to add a yellow color, which really scared the crap out of me, but I'm glad it turned out okay, because I guess I would never think to add yellow to the blue to get a darker, deeper color, but that's what it is, and that's what I did. How have you been? You getting ready for the holidays, I'm sure. I'm ready. I am so ready to take a break after, especially after today's painting. Yes. And I say that now, in a couple days, I'm like, I should work on something now. That's different for shadow. Yes. I try to add purple just so we're like, tips, I guess we're sharing, because I just discovered this. I try to add purple. It actually made it lighter. Didn't work. My normal instinct would be adding some cool brown usually, because that works for me in watercolor, but for some reason not for gouache. Or maybe I'm just doing watercolor wrong. So I had to consult my color wheel. And actually, maybe I should show you my color wheel. You're struggling with pieces right now. Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad we're all struggling with pieces at the end of the year. But maybe that's the point, right? So I color my color wheel, right? So this is I would say my blue is probably blue violet right now, somewhere in between here. And then the opposite of here is this mustard yellow color. That's what I did. And that's what we got right here. I know. I was like purple, like violet, naturally, but no, it's actually a yellow. Well, I wanted to the contrast, I guess. Um, yeah. And I guess this one means that to get this color, you had to add this color. To add this mix here, slowly you'll go to this way. Hi, Guri. Hi. Thank you so much for dropping in. Happy holidays to you. Thank you so much for dropping by and saying hi. I know my new fancy color wheel that I got, this size for white and this size for black. Well, not for words. Um, Shade tones. There you go. It's awesome. I love that I have that now because it just helped me out greatly. So yay. And I wish I can say that I have all that, I know all that by heart because this is what they teach in our school. But no. I don't know it by heart. And I'm glad I got it. Okay. And this little tip on top. Something up here. I'm focusing really hard because I don't know if I even had the energy to get the whole thing done, but my goal was to get this orbit done today. And I did 2 of them already, which took way longer than I thought. And I'm almost done with this. But as you can see, still got quite a bit to go. We'll see. So for this set of orbits, they all have a secondary eyeball at the end. Watchful eyes for the watchful. You never think that painting is such a labor-intensive activity, but it is. It is a very labor-intensive activity, especially right now when I'm stepping up and down from this step. So I'm actually doing painting and Stairmaster all at the same time. I'm tired. I think I will stop when I'm making bad decisions. I can feel myself getting there. Whew. Okay, okay, good on the blue, I think for now. Yellow, yellow. Oh, should I make the eyes yellow, yellow, yellow? No, that's a bad idea. I'm trying to decide what the eyeball should or the iris should be, what color it should be. I have a green, I have blue. I wanted to do pink, but I wonder if that's too close to that pink flower. I thought it was a good idea, but now I'm having second thoughts. If you guys have opinion, please let me know as well. But then I should do yellow because I can do pink here and blue here, but that's blue green. So I'll do the collar in green, the top in pink. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna do my eyeball in a yellow color, a mustard yellow color. Please stop me if I'm thinking, if you guys think it's a terrible idea. And also, maybe it's a sign that I should stop because I can't think straight right now. Okay, maybe that's my cue. Okay, here we go. Actually, yeah, I actually think I'm gonna stop for the day. Let me blend this area so I can see. Uh, when in doubt, just take a moment. And I think I'm having some doubts. Okay. So I'm gonna blend this down. Everything's beeping at me anyways. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna finish rest of this off screen, I think. Yes, I'm gonna finish rest of my orbit and then all that refining and backdrop off screen, but I don't think it's gonna be too much more time, maybe another couple more hours, I think. But I do want to show you guys what we did all day. All day feels like for the past 4 hours. Really not that much. I'm so surprised and annoyed, but that it is what it is. I did this orbit and this orbit and a half of that orbit. This is going to show you the blending part, how laborious it is. And as I just said, painting is a very labor-intensive work. Now my mask here, the flowers really look awesome in my camera, so I think it is awesome. And this is what we did. The rest of the painting, a very surreal painting that's inspired by Ikebana. Let's say about a little bit of balancing of your mental space. With this one, try to bend it, correct it. This one's hanging on to the dear life. And then this one is the most nurturing one. Make sure that bud is growing into a little healthy flower, I guess. There you go. I can't wait to look at this whole painting vertically, like, put on my wall. Because you guys will be looking at it with me up, right side up for the first time together. Okay, I'm gonna send my camera here. Okay. Okay, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me for the past 4 hours. I'm so tired, but I think we took the painting to a new place today, and I can't wait to finish it and show you guys the finished product. If you're watching and just finding out about me and haven't done so already, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, follow, repost button. It will really help me with my artist journey, and it will just be awesome. Very nice of you. And then lastly, I am going to take next week off because it's Christmas Eve. I have family, so I'm gonna take next week off to recoup, and then we'll be back the week after that, which is New Year's Eve. So maybe we can have a little party here. I don't know what that means, and I haven't even planned the art I'm going to make yet, but I have a good idea, and I'm excited because it'll be a more I want to do something more bright, more fun to welcome the new year, I guess. So with that being said, have an awesome Christmas, awesome holidays, and awesome rest of the day, awesome rest of the week. I know a lot of times Christmas is a little stressful, especially for moms, because you gotta do it all right. So make sure you take your time to relax and do some self-care and make sure that you take care of yourself first. And then we'll see you back in a couple weeks, I guess. Not next week, but the week after that. Okay, guys? Bye, guys. And Trevor, take care. Whoever's still here, take care. Okay? Thank you, guys.